Hey everyone, and welcome back. It's week 3 of our weekly meal prep series, and I am so excited to share what's on the menu. This week we're prepping a delicious pork and cabbage bowl and a super customizable burger bowl. We're getting a little bit more creative with our proteins to keep things fresh and flavorful, so let's dive in. To get things started, I'm roasting up some broccoli. You've seen me do this every week so far in the meal prep videos, and that's because I know Alan will eat broccoli. So we've got one vegetable I can count on him eating. I just toss it with a little bit of olive oil and some seasoning, and then I pop it into the 425-degree oven. It takes about 12 or 15 minutes. So while that's cooking, I'm gonna get this pork ready. Today, I'm using a 4-pound pork loin roast, which I cut into cubes. You could definitely just cut this into pork chops if you prefer, but I think that the cubes are a little bit easier to heat up and eat throughout the week. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it down today. After I get all of these cubed up, I'm gonna marinate the meat with a low sodium Dale's marinade. In addition to the marinade, I add some garlic powder and a little bit of the Montreal steak seasoning for some extra flavor. Once all of this is mixed up together, I just pop a lid on it and set it aside until later in the fridge. Okay, the broccoli's ready now, so I just pull it out and let it cool down on the counter until it's time to assemble these meals. Okay, now I'm going to mix up the burgers. The recipe for these is on my website, brownfamilyrecipes.com, and I will link to that recipe in the description box below. You can also find all of the nutrition information and the calorie content and everything for these meals in the description box below as well. So I'm starting with 4 pounds of 93% lean ground beef. To make sure all my patties are the same size, I'm weighing each one. So I just weigh the meat out until I get it to the right size for me. This ensures that they're gonna cook evenly, and it helps with that portion control. So from this batch of 4 pounds of meat, I ended up getting 16 patties. So I used a good bit of these in my meal prep, and then I also had a few left over to freeze. After I weigh them, I just use my little patty press to get them all to a uniform thickness. That way they cook up really nicely on the grill. This recipe is absolutely packed with flavor, and it tastes so delicious. Now for the cabbage side dish that's going to go with our pork. This is a bit of a twist on the egg roll bowl that I made a couple weeks ago, but this time we're using pork loin as the meat instead of ground meat inside the cabbage. So first I just start by chopping up some onions, and I'm going to saute them until they're translucent. So after these are sauteed, I just add in, I have 3 bags of cabbage total, but I start by adding in 2 bags, and I just let that steam down and cook a little bit before I add in the sauce and the 3rd bag. You'll see me mixing up basically the same sauce that goes on the egg roll in a bowl to put into this cabbage. A quick tip for the cabbage is don't overcook the cabbage here. It'll soften up a little bit more when you reheat your meals throughout the week. So you do want to leave it with a little bit of crunch, maybe a little less done than you think it will need to be, because it will cook again when you reheat it. So to bulk up this meal a little bit when I go to eat it, I'll steam some brown rice in the Instant Pot at the beginning of the week, and then I just store that in the fridge as well. When I go to make this meal, I add about 1/3 of a cup to each bowl when I'm ready to eat it, and then I just heat it up with the rice in there. So Alan doesn't prefer rice in his. He gets a little bit sluggish when he has carbs throughout the day, so he prefers it without the rice. That's why I don't go ahead and initially put it in there. So just remember to account for those extra calories when you add rice to the meal throughout the week. Is a great example of why meal prepping like this is so helpful for weight loss. It takes all the guesswork out of what you're eating for lunch or for dinner. Tired at the end of a long day, having a healthy meal already prepped and ready to go stops you from making a last minute, maybe unhealthy food choice, and it's a total game changer. This week I decided to take the cooking outside. It has been over 90 degrees here every single day, so cooking outside is a great way to keep the heat out of the house. This is one of the best parts about meal prepping. You only have to cook once. To be as efficient as possible, I've got both my Blackstone griddle and my propane grill going. I throw the burgers onto the grill and the pork cubes go onto the flat top, and it doesn't take very long for everything to cook through. Once it's all done, I bring the meat inside and I just let it cool down on the countertop before I start assembling the bowl. You'll see I have lots of extra help out here today. All of my dogs love to be outside. This was about midday, so they don't spend very long outside because it's even too hot for them. Moose, Zeus, Clark, and Millie are all out here waiting around, wanting to see what I'm doing. And now for the fun part, assembly. I recently treated myself to some new glass meal prep containers. I told myself that if I stuck to meal planning and meal prepping, that I would buy myself some good meal prep containers. I still have half plastic containers and half glass containers. These are great and I love the snap-on lids, but the only complaint that I have about them is that they don't stack perfectly without the lids on because of that glass divider in the middle. They do stack great with the lids on though. I'll start by portioning out the pork and cabbage bowls, which takes no time at all. Then I'll move on to the burger bowls with the roasted broccoli. So for my husband Alan, I'll add an extra half of a burger to some of these bowls because he needs a little bit more protein than me to stay nice and full. So these might look a little bit sparse now, but we'll be dressing them up throughout the week. So I like to have mine on a lettuce wrap, sometimes a bun if I have enough of calories left in my calorie budget for the day. But these are great. Just top them how you want to, add the things that you want to, and don't forget to track those calories if you're tracking in something like MyFitnessPal. I do hope that you have enjoyed seeing what we'll be eating this week. Don't forget to like this video, and if you've made it this far, be sure to hit that subscribe button to see next week's meal prep as well. I'll see you back here again real soon.